Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Florentin and this will be a short practice session on Carcassi's Opus 60, number 2. For those of you that want to see the score, it looks like this. Now this is public domain material, so this is easily accessible online. You just have to Google Carcassi Opus 60 number 2 PDF, and there's a few places that would allow you to download a PDF of this score. It's simply public domain. This is a study that I've been playing for about 25 years, and the beauty of studies and etudes is that you're never done with them, because the main purpose of a study or etude is technical, not so much for performance, even though you could perform them in a recital, but the main purpose for them is technical. So you can use them as warm-up exercises and also as part of your technique section of your practice session. Now remember, when I first went to music school in the early 90s, I went to DePaul University. This was the very first study that my professor had me play for months, and he used this study to revolutionize the way in which I produced sound on the instrument. I was self-taught for many years, and then I had a teacher for about a year in high school. He was a great teacher, but we could only do so much in 1 year. And this Carcassi study was what my professor used to absolutely revolutionize the way that I attacked the strings with my right hand. So I've been playing it ever since, and I never stopped playing it. And when I do practice it, I usually practice it like this. I want to show you in this practice session. The very first thing I would do, I would play just the right hand, and the opening measure is that I would just play blocked strings of what I just did. My thumb is on the 5th string, index on the 3rd, middle on the 2nd, ring on the 1st, and I would just block that and play it a few times relaxed, and I would actually change my thumb from the 5th to the 6th, back to the 5th, to the 4th, and back to the 5th, keeping my index, middle, and ring on the first 3 strings, something like this. I think I should show you a close-up of my right hand, the position of my fingers in the right hand, so you understand what I'm doing there. And here's the position. I'm going to muffle the strings here. So, yeah, there. And so here's my position. Just make sure you can see the angle. This is the basic position. And you'll notice that I'm actually preparing the fingers on the strings before I play. I don't fish for the notes. I actually prepare my fingers on there, and when I do play, I do not pull the strings away. Instead, I kind of push them in, and then I do this kind of motion with a little bit of pushed in, but with a little bit of pressure on the strings, and then I go this way instead of that way. So notice how I prepare for half a second before I play. Even when the arpeggio is broken like this, notice how, there, stop, see right there? I have my fingers on the strings before they play. And I'll say one more thing here. Notice that as soon as I play, my fingers let go. In other words, I don't end up with this, which is too much tension. See, I don't end up with curled up fingers. As soon as the finger plays, it relaxes. That's very important. See? As soon as you play, you want to relax them. So I started a series of videos on Giuliani's 120 studies for the right hand, and I'll place the link of the first one at the bottom. I think I did 5 so far, and in that series of videos I talk at length about proper right hand position and proper right hand technique, so you might want to take a look at that. The second stage that I would practice would be to break up that pattern into thumb and fingers like this. Sixth, back to fifth, fourth, back to fifth, and the next stage, and I would do that a little bit longer, maybe about a minute for each stage. The next stage, the third stage, would be to play one descending arpeggio. That's what happens here, right? So minus those 4 repeated notes, I would have this. Sorry. That. So practicing technique is not for people with no patience. You need to have lots of patience, dedication, go through the steps, give it time. Yeah, so just keep that in mind. The next stage would be to play the complete pattern. Here's what you have. Okay, but with open strings. Sixth. Fifth, fourth, fifth, and you want to avoid playing in a way that allows you to hear a difference between this and this. Those should sound as one thing, one seamless thing. It's just one entire thing. Okay? So once you do that for a few minutes, now a couple of words about having to look at your right hand fingers. I would suggest that you don't, for 2 reasons. First of all, it's good to just feel the strings and be able to find it without looking, and eventually you can. There's only so many possibilities, there's so many combinations. And second reason, if you have to look somewhere, you'll have to look at your sheet music or maybe your left hand, which shifts a lot. The last thing you want to have to look at is your right hand. So as you practice these open string stages, try to do all of it, excuse me, if at all possible, without looking. And you'll make some mistakes at first, but you just have to, you want to get used to it. So now we're ready to add the left hand, and we're going to back it up to the first stage we did here, but with added chords in the left hand. So the first thing we did was blocked chords. So we'll do this. And I wouldn't repeat that second section even though the score wants you to repeat it, because I'm just practicing. So the next stage would be what we did before, which was broken, to break that up into thumb and fingers like so. And you want to play through the whole piece with every stage, okay? The heat keeps coming on and off, so my strings are getting a little bit out of tune. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay. The next stage would be one ascending arpeggio for each chord change. That was the next stage when we did open strings, so that would look like that at this point, like this. Notice I'm not stopping for a couple of buzzes here and there because I'm not recording a CD, so it doesn't really matter if you have a couple of buzzes here and there. And the last stage, which brings us to the way the piece is actually written on paper, is to play the whole pattern like this. Now people sometimes do P-I-N-A-M-I-M-I. I like to do P-I-N-A-I-M-I-M. Some people find that hard because you have to bring the index finger all the way across. It just works for me, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm doing thumb, index, middle, ring, index, middle, index, middle. That's what I've been doing, so that's what I'm doing. So that's my pattern. So here's an attempt to put the whole thing together. Here he goes. almost there. I hope everybody's okay. I think it's a fire truck actually. Perfect timing too. So then I would try this much faster. I would spend about 15 minutes, of course no talking, about 12-15 minutes as a first chunk of my practice section working on the study like this before I get into repertoire. So let me go for a little bit more speed right now and maybe more dynamics. Alright, so I kind of like that. I'm out of tune. Okay, so I'll go for one more attempt and then I'll stop. Alright, so that was a decent practice session. It wouldn't take me as long because I wouldn't be talking and explaining things. I would just quickly go through each stage, and again, blocked, broken in two, ascending arpeggio, plus the repeated pattern. Then the same stages with chords in the left hand, blocked, broken in two, ascending arpeggio, and the whole thing. Okay, and that would take me about 12-ish, maybe 15 minutes, depending on how much time I take with each stage. And how many times should you repeat each stage? I can't answer that question because everybody is different. Sometimes you'll feel comfortable after 4 repeats. Sometimes you'll have to spend more time until you feel very comfortable. Okay, so then you have to make the decision as you practice. I think I'll stop this here. It's a little bit too long. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you watch it all the way to the end, here's something. I really appreciate it. Good for you. Maybe you can try this on your own and practice it and learn it. And if you do record it, let me know so I can watch it. Thanks for watching my video. You can get the sheet music online. Just search for Carcassi Opus 60 #2 PDF, and I'm sure you can get it for free. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. Take care. God bless you.